I'm gonna make a video on certain scenarios of so I've been reading some articles. It's just that I've also taken math classes years ago. Um, Particularly calculus. So um, here's the thing. I'm going to be discussing life choices. I'm going to be laying it out almost like multiple choice. So the first choice is that you could prefer technology. The thing with technology is it's very there's a lot of people where there's a lot of technology. I learned this from um, according to my school. Um, I understand some history, not like a lot, just very basic level. So people tend to gravitate towards technology for a lot of obvious reasons. It's just a lot easier, like more convenient having electricity, power source, um, you name it, right? Um, Obviously, things that provide travel through air. Obviously, food storage. Very, very convenient. So that's a choice that a lot of people would gravitate towards. Another choice one could make is the opposite. If we look at Earth's history, the population thousands of years ago was much smaller. There was a time where total world population was less than 1 billion, or even less than 500 million. That is, 500 million is definitely a small fraction of today's population. So we could definitely see so here's the thing I wanted to discuss that I have to summarize. The Earth is not likely to have a major. We're not gonna be able to extract energy from all these stars. It's not realistic. It's not impossible. It's just difficult. Just not very realistic for a lot of reasons. I'm not going to make a video discussing on those reasons. I think that there's plenty of college courses on that subject alone, and there's a few stuff on the internet on this. Just that's obviously for those who can't afford it. There are books on this subject too. So, let's see. I'm not gonna recommend any because I haven't actually read any of those books. So, let's see. And obviously, if World War III happens, that would make the scientists, let's just say, would probably stall their efforts. So, not very easy to both create an underground bunker and conduct these very difficult technological goals. Both you can't have both. So that would mean that if World War III happens, we could definitely see the population decrease a lot. Of course, we hope that that doesn't happen. That's one of the reasons why politicians have to be selected to ensure that these things don't happen. And we clearly see that there has been success that's for the Nobel Peace Prize and all that other stuff. So, or the then there's also a bunch of other stuff. So, let's see. So let's hope that that continues. It's not very realistic. So, we clearly see that the Israel-Gaza war is a forewarning of what could happen. So it would certainly be difficult. Let's see. Let's see here. The thing is, it's not just obviously we have examples of of possibly terrible scenarios that have happened. Hurricane Katrina is probably what I remember. There's plenty of other examples where disaster happened at the wrong place. Couldn't imagine it'd be easy to recover from. The thing is, extreme weather events have happened in the past. I cannot remember from reading a textbook from school that there was a small ice age-ish thing that happened in the 1800s, 1600s, somewhere around there. So that's an example of these weather extremes. It's not supposed to happen, but it could happen again. Now, not the exact thing with the ice age, but we clearly see these weather extremes happening every now and then, right? So we're not prepared for those weather extremes. There's other examples of this. So these weather extremes would pretty affect things far more than what COVID has done. So it certainly would disrupt a very fragile what's that called, infrastructure, where we're really dependent on these supply chains, and like the farmer has produced food and it has to be distributed to like a major storage area, and then it gets processed, and then somehow it gets to our groceries and stuff like that, right? Same with the water supply and stuff. These are very fragile things. Obviously, if any part of the is disrupted by these weather extremes, it certainly would be difficult to repair. Congress might not be able to quickly come up with a response, and obviously that would cause riots, and then obviously, like if Congress, if it's the United States, they have to pay money for the National Guard and stuff like that, right? The thing is, if electricity is hampered, then that could slow down their ability to send the payments. And let's just say, you don't have your paycheck. You're just, but of course there will be volunteers. But it's just, but you get the idea. The riots would start to get out of control, right? It's at a scale that's far worse than what happened in 2020, right? So, 2021. So, I clearly see that is a very realistic thing. There are books on the subject where the author really understands. Usually the author probably has past experience. It's very unlikely to. I have to conduct some research before putting. Once I have done that, maybe I would have put it on the description. Because anyway, on recommended books written by professors. Let's see. Yes, at least professors. They're not there to give you advice. They're there to explain the material. So, giving advice on survival, that's a different thing. Let's see. Um, so one of the reasons people gravitate towards technological centers um, is because it's just it's just a lot easier to continue their life goals. Um, it's This is one of the reasons. Um, there's lots of reasons for this. It's just the part of it is the law of attraction. Now, the law of attraction is not about romance or marriages. The law of attraction is a lot like chemistry, um, where instead of using elements and molecules for examples, it's basically like you know we understand the concept of countries, right? Each country has their leader, right? So the law of attraction is like kind of like that, except that it's different where your choices have an impact on what would happen. It's like anyone who went to school, you know, no one is friends with everyone in the school. Um, so there's different groups, right? You see the formation of different social groups, right? It's not that different with the law of attraction in this case. Um, so if the Earth's population gets to a point 100, 200, 300 years later, let's say the population ends up being 500 million, which is still a lot. Obviously, what will happen to the other 7 billion? Um, that I can't say what would happen. That's sad. That I don't know what would happen in that case. That's not in my area of expertise. I have taken an astronomy class, but my grade was not it was not decent. So what I could say is that when scientists find out of possible life on other planets, maybe we could make some theories on it. That hasn't happened yet. So there hasn't been any evidence for that yet. So the law of attraction, I have to recap this quickly. It's simply there's a quote called "Birds of a feather flock the same." Nah, that's not. That kind of sucks. It's like you remember back in school, and people can often most of the time many of your classmates will not attend the same school, university. You know, so you're gonna have some of your classmates attend university out of state or even out of a different country. So law of attraction is a lot like that. You're not gonna there are if you went to a smaller school, especially if it's in a middle upper class, mostly students that are in that group, you're gonna see that perhaps half of your graduating class will attend a school, um, or each attend different schools. So that is different. You might see different things like that.